What is going on, guys? NinjaNick333 back with another uh, League Challenge episode from Professor Bond's Emporium in Amsterdam, New York. Uh, this is round 3 of the tournament. It is Jonboy for the second round in a row on the right with Metagross Solgaleo, and on the left we have myself on my super sweet Kaijiro playmat with Ninja Pumpkin. If you guys are fans of the channel from way back when I used to do Kaijiro, we all know my boy Ninja Pumpkin was my one of my favorite cards, even though the card was bad, and I would never play it in anything because it was bad. But it was like the signature Ninja Nick card that I would sign for people, so that was cool. So we have me on the left playing with my ZoroGarb, same 59 that I topped Philly with. I replaced the Dedenne with the Sudowoodo because it's good, and the Dedenne, I wasn't expecting to hit Rayquaza, even though I did, so there's that. But I did beat Rayquaza round 1, so that's what mattered. So here we go, we shuffled up, we're setting up. I believe I lost the coin flip, if I remember correctly. I don't remember 100%. As you can tell by the fact that my shirt is exactly the same with the blue Vegito, this is actually later in the same day that I'm recording all of this, because I don't want to go to bed, and I like being overtired, and I hate myself, so we're doing it. You can see Jonboy goes first. Lilies for 3. Yes, he lilied for 3. He started one Pokemon, touched an energy, and lilied. Rip Jonboy. Rip Jonboy. As I said before, he is prone to very bad luck, even more so than me. I have a little bit of a hard time deciding, I think, between my starting supporter. Just decide to fan club. I think I have a Cynthia. I usually don't fan club unless I have a Cynthia in my hand or a Lily and an Ultra Ball. So there we go. All he did was attach an energy, man. That's rough. I'm gonna get dust gatheringed. So yeah, I don't have any energy. I wish I had a psychic energy to attach the Garb, just because on turns where you don't need to attach DCE, you want to attach psychic. But unfortunately I don't have any energy, but it's fine because it doesn't really put me that far behind. So then you see John, all he did, his Lily to draw until he had 8 cards, all it got him was a Cynthia. So he's going to play that Cynthia for us right now. Yeah. So he's going to shuffle up really good because he wants to make sure he does not brick this round. He knows that he's prone to bricking, and he knows that I'm on a hot streak. So he wants to make sure that I do not end his Poke life right here. So he gets the Vulpix off of this, and he, instead of retreating and using Beacon for free to get Lele and like Solgaleo or something, he decides to Dust Gathering and draw a card. So here I go, and I look at my hand and I go, okay, well let me thin it out a card by putting down the Choice Band. Choice Band doesn't really matter too much in this matchup, because you're two-shotting no matter what. And Metagross does play a lot of items to get going sometimes, so the Garbodor can also two-shot, or potentially one-shot if you get super late into the game. So I put the Choice Band down because I don't really mind not saving it if he can somehow get a knockout on the next turn. But I don't really think he will. I'm just really looking for a Zoroark and a DC. It's all I'm asking for. And as you can see, I got a Garb and a Zoroark, but no DC. Oh, I got two Zoroarks actually. So I put them down really fast. And as you can see, I like to tap my Zoroarks and apparently send them flying, as I'm laughing about pretty hard. Yeah, so I tap my Zoroarks when I use them because otherwise I forget. It's really easy to forget. I can remember things like Oranguru. I can remember things like Octillery. I can't remember how many Zoroarks I use because I put so many into play. If I have more than one copy, like if I can remember if I premonitioned once or twice if I'm playing like Zoroark Guardy or just straight Guardy with the Gallades and stuff. Like I can remember if I premonitioned once or twice, but I can't remember if I used one or two trades. So I always tap them. I'm being a little showy for the camera. Normally I just discard the card, but I'm like flipping it around in my hand there to show that I'm like discarding it, even though it's pretty obvious. And as you can see, I whipped the DC, but now I get the Psychic Energy that I wanted the previous turn. So that's bad. So I'm like, oh crap, he's just gonna like Soul Burst GX, and I'm gonna have a bad time. But as you can see, all he does is he puts down a Delmise. The Delmise that I handed to him before the tournament started, that is my card. I gave it to him because he's a bro, and I have like 4 copies of it. So I didn't really need more than 2, I felt. So there you go. Have fun anchor shotting me. So I whiffed the DC, so I didn't get to take a knockout, and I'm really kind of scared right now because this Solgaleo could come out at anywhere, and as you can see, I CB Hala for 4. And I'm like, what are you doing, boy? What is going on? And he's like, he's like, it's all I got. And I specifically tell him that I ain't no Hala back girl, and the card is bad. And he's like, yeah, I can see that now. So there he goes, and he draws us 4 cards. We're going to see, does he get anything decent? Is he going to Dust Gathering? Is he going to Retreat and Beacon? Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Nope, he's just going to Dust Gathering. Yep. I still would have liked to Beacon, personally. Just get like 2 Beldum. So now, as you can see, I'm about to play a Cynthia. So I put down another Choice Band, and I put down the Weakness Policy, and then I Field Blower. And then Jonboy goes, what are you going to Field Blower? Your own Weakness Policy? And I said, you bet I am. And I go and I discard it in case I want to Choice Band that Zoroark later in the game. I really just wanted it out of my way, so I didn't Cynthia it back in. Card's bad in this matchup, doesn't really do anything. The only thing it does is protect your Garbodor from Anchor Shot, but I feel like the Choice Band is more relevant because of the resistance. So, as you can see, I Cynthia, I draw my card, and he's like, did you get the energy? And I said, nope, and he laughs. So then I trade, still no energy. So I trade again, and there it is. Finally get the energy. And I get a Timer Ball, but I go 1, 2 tails. That could have been 2 Zoroarks, and that would have been great. But it was 2 tails, because I don't play Great Ball, because that card is also bad. It's good, but it's bad. I'd rather choose which Pokemon I'm getting, even if I flip tails 25% of the time, because it's a Zoroark deck and you can still draw cards. So, but I do get the DC off that last trade, and I'm super happy. I contemplate benching Gladios or not. I do end up deciding to do it. I'm playing with matte sleeves, so you can kind of see what my Pokemon are, as opposed to the last guy who was playing official Pokemon sleeves. So you can see that I actually have a Latios. I decided to put that down because Cosmog is weak to Psychic, because Delmise is weak to Psychic. So instead of saving that, I feel like I already have the 4 Zoroarks into play, So I don't really need a Garb. Like, the only other thing I could bench would be another Trubbish or a Lele. My hand's decent enough. I've got 2 trades. So I just put down the Latios because there's no reason not to. And I ride a Speeding, take the knockout. He Ultra Balls for a Beldum. And now I think he has like a 0 card hand right now. So I think he's going to, no, he has a hand. He has 1 or 2 cards. 2 cards. Yeah. So he Ultra Balls Cynthia's, lets me cut the deck, and then plays the Cynthia so that I will have to shuffle and cut the deck again. John was nice enough to play with 3 discard piles, which technically you're not supposed to do, but I don't care. He's got 1 for energy for his geotech systems, 1 for choice bands, item cards for my trash avalanche, and then 1 for everything else. So here goes drawing 6 cards. Does he get anything good? He gets a nest ball, so that's another Beldum. He really needs to get set up this turd. He needs like 3 Beldum in play, minimum, preferably 4. This is the first Beldum I've seen, I believe, because he was only using Dust Gathering a bunch of times. So he's really contemplating. He's looking through his deck. He wants to make sure he knows maybe what his prizes are or what he wants to get. Instead of getting a Beldum, he goes for another Cosmog. That's not bad. I kind of agree with that because the Cosmog can threaten the Soul Burst, and it can threaten the Sunsteel Strike by being potentially turned into a Solgaleo GX. Unfortunately, because of this, if I have, like, it's like he kind of has to go for it, but he's now super weak to a Guzma, because if he just got another Beldum, oh, well, he does get another Beldum, right? So that's okay, I guess. But if he only had the 1 Beldum and the Cosmog, he would be weak, because he would be able to beacon, and depending on what he beaconed, I could Guzma knock out the thing that I think he's going to evolve. But now he got the other Beldum, so now he's going to beacon, and as you can see off of this beacon, he's going to search a Solgaleo GX, and I do have the Guzma, so since there's only 1 Cosmog in play, and it has the energy, and he searched for the Solgaleo GX, I am 150% targeting down that Cosmog with Guzma if I have even the slightest ability to do it. And you can also see that I waited. I talked about this in the previous round with your opponent searching your deck. You want to save time by starting your turn while they're still searching their deck, but you really want to wait because they could potentially change what they're going for. Like, say I played Guzma on Cosmog while he's still searching for his Solgaleo, he's going to get Metagross instead. Like, that's just, like, simple. So you want to make sure that you at least wait until they start shuffling before you start taking your turn. So I've used 3 trades, as you can see by all my Zoroarks being tapped slightly. And there comes the Guzma, bringing up the Cosmog to make sure that that Solgaleo GX that is in his hand is a 100% dead card, and that he can't really do much of anything with it. Unfortunately, I whiffed another DCE, so my only DCE attacker is now going to the bench, and I have no free retreat because I don't have Coco. I think I prized it. So I am forced to Trash Avalanche, which feels really gross, because I want to save my Trash Avalanche for later, but it really just doesn't matter. It's actually kind of better in this situation, even though it's not a play I would do if I had the option. If I had the option to attach another DCE and ride a Speeding, I would have done that. But actually, Trash Avalanching is better, because on the next turn, I want a Guzma again. And then I can just bring that same Zoroark back up. I also attached the Psychic Energy to Zoroark because I know that I'm not going to be putting any more Trubbish into play. Well, I'm not going to be putting any more Garbodor into play after this one. This is the only Garbodor that's going to be in the game, just because I have so many Zoroarks out. And the Latios is eating that one bench spot. I don't think Trashalanche is relevant enough of an attack, because he's not playing enough items, and the resistance and the high HP isn't going to make Trashalanche do anything. So I'm going to take the knockout with the Trashalanche while I can. Even though it's not the play that I would have thought of, it's actually the best play. So I kind of fell into it on accident, which is kind of funny. So here he goes. He Ultra Balls. I think he puts down a Metang, then he Ultra Balls for a Beldum. So now he's finally getting set up on like turn 6 or something like that. Really unfortunate that he just did not draw super well. Guys like my bottle, Nashville. Any Cynthia's. So it was nice that he was able to discard the Solgaleo with the Ultra Ball. He has no more Cosmogs left because he probably only plays 2. So that card is completely worthless. So at least now it's completely out of his deck. It does not get shuffled back in with the Cynthia. So his game plan right now is to make sure this Metang survives to become a Metagross, and then next turn like double Rare Candy, double Metagross, so that he has 3 Metagross in play, and try to just knock me, just like do a bunch of Metagross shenanigans. Because if he can manage to pull that off, and he can like max potion every turn, there's like really no way I can win. Because Trashalanche is just not going to do anything because the damage isn't going to rack up fast enough. The Zoroarks are going to 2-shot, but he can just max potion every turn, or at least hard retreat and hope I with Guzma, which is entirely possible at this point since I've already Guzma'd at least once. My deck still has a fair amount of cards into it, so even though I can trade 3 times, I can still whiff Guzma. And as you can see, he is going to Beacon, and he's going to get Metagross, because he's going to evolve that Metang into Metagross the next turn. And he's going to finally start doing things. He also gets the Lele, because again, his hand is dead. So he's going to Lele to try to get a supporter. I draw, since he's finally started shuffling his deck. I go in for the cut, even though it's not necessary, because he's been bro, and he's cool. So I trade once. Devoured Field doesn't matter. Trade twice. Weakness Policy doesn't matter. Cards are just like not good in this matchup. Devoured Field's okay. It could potentially matter because it makes your Ritus beating 130, so 2 shots of Metagross. But Choice Band is already in play, I believe. Or no, Choice Band was Field Blard, so I probably should have kept the Reverse Valley or the Devoured Field. I keep calling it Reverse Valley. The Devoured Field. I probably should have kept it, but there was other good cards in my hand, and I don't see a Metagross coming into play during the rest of this game because I have Guzma again, and I'm going to bring up that Metang, and I'm going to Ritus Beating for 120 for a knockout with a Zoroark with 2 Psychic Energies on it because I can't draw a DC. I think I have DC at this point. I didn't pay attention to what's in my hand. And I take another prize, so now I know it's a little hard to tell what my prizes are, but I'm at 3. I always put 3 and 3, 3 and 3, like that, on my prizes. It's just kind of how I do it. No specific reasoning. I just like it. It's just easier for me. So Jonboy's a little upset that Metagross is not coming into play. He would have loved to algorithm, get double Rare Candy, double Metagross, max potion, shenanigan type stuff. Yeah, because if I was able to algorithm, I would have gotten double Rare Candy, double Metagross, max potion. But here he goes, so he Lele Winter tags for Cynthia. He's going to play that Cynthia, I'm sure. And there he goes, he's playing it. And my throat is dry because this is round 3. And I've been recording this all in a row. So he's got another Beacon in play. Beacon's a really good card, but unfortunately at this point in the game, it's too slow of a card. You want to just be playing things like Cynthia, and just like hoping you get Rare Candy Metagross, and just start doing things and attacking. I'm like set up to all high heaven, so he's got to start doing some crazy things right now. Otherwise, I'm just gonna steamroll. And as you can see, no Rare Candy Metagross. So he's just gonna slap Choice Band down on that Lele to threaten the Energy Drive later in the game. That's another thing that his deck can do, is even without the max potions, he can tank 2 hits with 2 different Metagross, put them to the bench, Tapu Cure GX with the Psychic Energy, heal off the damage from both of the Metagross. So that's cool too, that he can do that. So there is a ton of healing in this deck. So there he goes, and he Rescue Stretchers the Metang, puts it down onto his bench to try to protect it. But he knows I'm going to play Guzma because I'm a jerk. And he Core Beams for 20. He's like, yo, I'm going to get damage into play no matter what. And I'm using the World's Dice. I really like the World's Dice, but they don't show up on camera very well. I basically just use them because I like them. I knew they wouldn't show up very well on camera, but I wanted to try anyway just to see what they're like, and it looks like you can't tell what number it is at all. So whenever I'm doing stream games from now on, or whenever I'm doing video games, whenever I'm doing like a live video type, whatever, I don't know, whatever you want to call this crap, from now on, I'm going to use regular dice so you can actually see them. But for the record, that is 20 damage, and I Guzma, and I knock out another Metang. This is how you beat Gardevoir decks. You do this to the routes. This is how you beat Metagross decks. You do it to the Beldums and Metangs. This is how you beat Vikavolt decks. You Guzma the Grubbins. Just anything stage 2 related. Oh my, that was your hand? Oh my god. So, like, he made a joke that his hand was, like, super bad, right? And, I told him to show the camera so that I could laugh about it later. There's those rare candies. I think his original opening hand, when he Cynthia'd it away or whatever, was rare candies with no Metagross, and then he got the Metagrosses and no rare candies, and now he has the rare candies again but no Metagross, and just a bunch of energies. It's really unfortunate for him. As I said, he always like super bricks all the time. R.I.P. Jonboy. So I'm looking through his discard pile, making sure that there's no other items in there, because I have another Guzma in hand, and I want to see if I can if I can knock out Dulele with a Trash Avalanche. Unfortunately, he has 6 items, and I already used my Field Blower earlier in the game, so I don't have any way to knock his Choice Band into the discard pile in order to Choice Band Guzma Knockout for 170. So instead, I choose to Palpad in to Guzma. Palpad is too strong. I love that card. I used to hate it, but after rotation in this current format, I actually really like Palpad. Especially in a Zoroark deck, it's basically just double VS Seeker. It's super strong. So I don't have the ability to knock out the Lele this turn, so I have to win in 2 turns. But I had shuffled in those 2 Guzma, my opponent Jonboy cut my deck, and I trade, and I draw both Guzmas. So I don't even use more than just the 1 trade, because I don't, and I show the camera my hand, like how just bad it is. I have a ton of cards in my hand, because I'm playing Zoroark, and he's not playing Judge. And Judge is a bad card, it doesn't even stop Zoroark anyway, because they just trade more, and then they draw more. Especially at this point when I have 4 Zoroark in play. Like, that's 8 cards a turn, my dude. Like, I'm gonna get whatever I want every turn. So I Guzma Knockout, And then he puts the Lele up and he energy draws me because that's all he can do. I'm at like 150 or something. Sorry for the fact that you can't see my dice. But then I look through my hand just to make sure I have it, because if I can, I'm going to style points it because I'm a jerk. I'm sorry, Jonboy. But we had to do it for the YouTubes. Here comes the choice band. Even though I have the Guzma in hand, here comes the choice band and the Kukui, and we've wombo comboed into victory. We don't need the devoured field because Lele has 170 instead of 180. So I Kukui, and he's like, "How much is that?" And I'm like, 170. And he's like, "Oh," and he like knocks his head on the table. He's like, "Oh, good game." So good game, Jonboy. You tried really hard. I think early you should have probably retreated and beaconed to get a Lele and Beldum. I think that would have been stronger than just using dust gathering. But now you know, because you're going to watch this video and you're going to see me ridicule you. So sorry, but not sorry. So that's it. That's the match. No more metal on stream. I keep calling it stream. Like no more metal decks. We're done with that. We had 3 rounds of metal decks. So next round we're gonna have the finals, which is me versus Ultra Necrozma. So that's gonna be pretty sweet. I had no idea Ultra Necrozma was even in the tournament, but we were the only 2 undefeateds going into the last round. And Ultra Necrozma is like a super favorite matchup for me, so I'm like super happy knowing that that's what's going on. So, but we'll see if that's actually how it turns out. So I will see you guys next round for Professor Bond's Emporium's Celestial Storm League Challenge Round 4, the final round. Whoever wins the final round wins the tournament. So it's either going to be me or Ultra Necrozma guy. I think his name is Chris or something. Never met him before, but he was really cool. So we'll see that when it goes up. I'll see you guys then.